Now, we have an HTML5 page that can send the information about our location to the server and receive the data about the people who have visited our location and the places around our location and display them in an HTML page. So now it's a good idea to add some styling to this page so it would look better. So we start with the title of our page. In our HTML, we assign the ID title to the title of our page, so we can use this ID and add some styling to the title. So inside the head of our HTML, I add the tag style. Close it right away so that I don't forget. And inside the style, I add the number sign which represents the ID title, so that this styling is assigned to the element with the ID title. First of all, I'm going to set the background color to the gray. Number 555 is my favorite. And then the color of our font to white, so that it is highlighted on the gray. And then the height of the title bar to 50 px. Let's see how that goes. And the alignment of the text, which we want to be at the center. And I will add some padding to the top so that the text would not stick to the top of the container. Let's say 5 px for now. And the font family, which I'll go with Helvetica. And the font size, to, let's say 25. We can also assign it by percentage. And let's see how this looks. Yeah, it's there. I would increase the padding of the top of the container to maybe 10 px. Yeah, it's even better now. And add the font dash weight to bold. Awesome. The next thing is to style the container for the number of people who visited. Its ID is counter, so similarly I add the styling for the element with the ID counter. I want the font color to be number 555. I want the font to be bold. And the font family similarly, so I just copy it. And the font dash size, maybe 20. See how that goes. And some padding to the top. And let's try it. Oops, we forgot to place it in the middle of the page. Actually center it. So let's go back to the editor. Text dash align, center. And yes, but maybe font size 20 is too small. It's okay for now. We can change it later. The next part is the explanation underneath the counter. So its ID is XP. I would want almost the same thing but with a smaller font, so I just copy and paste everything from the counter and change the font size to 14. And I don't want it to be bold, so change it to normal font weight. And yeah, 4 people visited this area. The next thing, which is more exciting, is the div element that contains the tables and the table itself. So we have this places div, this div element with the ID places and the table element with the ID places table. So I put 2 elements in this styling, places and places table. I want this div element to have a width of 300 px, height of 260 px, and I want the background color to be light gray and the border to be 2 px thick, solid, and the color be a lighter gray, which I choose the color number F8, F8, F8. Now let's take a look to see how it looks. Yes, the color is there, but we want it to be centered too. So to center a div, we set the margins on the right and left to auto. So this will automatically set the div, place it in the center of the page. So margin dash right, auto, and margin dash left, auto as well. And I would also like to add some curves to the corner of the borders. So I would set border dash radius 10 px. That's the radius of the curves at the corner of the borders. I actually think it's better to have a light gray border with a F8, F8, F8 background. So I'm going to just replace that. Yes, this looks better, obviously. Now it's the table's turn to be styled. I first style the whole table, and then I style the rows and the cells separately. Places, table, PR. So that was the style, all the rows in that table. And then places, table, TD, that was the style, all the cells. So I set the font size to 12 maybe. And then I set a border dash bottom to the bottom of each row, so it separates different places. And let's look at it. Seems like font size 12 is too small, so I'm going to change it to 14 maybe. And the border at the bottom of the rows didn't show up. It's because we have to set this border dash collapse for the table to collapse. Oh, that didn't solve the problem. Also, there is an extra space in there. So let's try again. Oh, it's not there. I got it. There should be an R here, so it should be border dash bottom. And this should solve the problem. Yeah. And then I am going to also add a height to the row. So each row's height is 50 px. I'm also going to add a padding to this div element that contains this table, so the table element does not stretch all the way to the borders of the div element. So I set padding to 5 px. I think that should be enough. Yep. And I set a width for the places table so that it's not too small. I set it to the table width. The div element was 300 minus 10. It should be 290. Yeah. Let's go back to our HTML5 page and see what's remaining to be styled. Now we want this distance to be placed at the right side of the table row, and we may want to remove these spaces from the top of our title bar and the corners. So to place the distance value to the right side of the table row, we go back to where we created that element. This span contains the distance. So we define some inline style for this span. And set the float attribute to right. So that should make it stick to the right side of the table row. Yeah. Now to remove the white spaces from the top of our title bar, we need to add some styling for the whole HTML and body element. I will set the padding to 0 and the margin to 0, and that should remove the white spaces. Yep. So now our title bar sticks to the top of our page and everything is in place. We can add some images, some icons to the table of places. We can change the colors of the title or the text, and it's not difficult to get from this to our target HTML5 page now.